So, meine Lieben, es ist wieder 1:30. Ich weiß nicht, was ich gemacht habe heute Abend. Seit dem 9 Uhr, also 1,5 Stunden mit dem Leon telefoniert und meinen HSG-Account gemacht. Eine Arbeitsbestätigung rausgeschickt als Vorlage. Alles HSG abgeschlossen. Und ein bisschen brainstorm mit dem Leon. Um ganz offen und transparent mit dem zukünftigen Linus zu reden. Ich habe Angst. Und ich habe seit 3 Jahren Angst. Oder 2,5 etwa, nicht genau. Eine Frau zu küssen. Was insane ist. Weil ich die ganze Zeit Körper am Verteilen bin. Und ich so mittlerweile einfach gewöhnt bin, dass sie nicht die richtige für mich ist. Und jetzt gibt es vielleicht tatsächlich eine Kandidatin, wo ich starkes Interesse habe, wo sie an mir Interesse zeigt. Und wo ich meine Angst überwinden könnte. Und ich glaube, da oben ist etwas fundamental bei mir falsch gelaufen. Dass ich, also Full Transparency, ich bin mir ziemlich sicher, ich habe das Herz von meiner Ex gebrochen. Und ich habe eine sehr lange Zeit lang keinen Rebound wählen. Und dann bin ich so, hey, ich will nie wieder jemanden so fest verletzen wie sie. Und dann bin ich in Schutz für die andere Person Mechanismus gegangen. Dass ich nicht einfach so einer Frau Hoffnungen machen will und mit einer zusammen sein will, wo ich es nicht langfristig sehe. Aber dann höre ich so Geschichten von Frauen, die mit 100 Typen die ganze Zeit rummachen und was nicht mal juckt. Und dann bin ich so, warum bin ich so fest in my head? Auf der anderen Seite ist das Ding so ein bisschen, wie fuckt schon unsere Gesellschaft eigentlich? Dass es sie einfach nicht juckt. Es juckt sie schlichtweg einfach nicht. Und das ist mindblowing. Das ist wirklich, wirklich mindblowing. Und für mich persönlich absolut unverständlich. Ja. Ich glaube, ich weiß, wenn sie der richtige ist oder eine mit Potenzial. Ich weiß nicht, ob Gott will, dass ich Rejection-Therapie übe. Ich glaube, das ist eine gute Sache, zum nachher im Gebet nochmal ein bisschen vertieft hineingehen. Auch etwas, was mir eingefallen ist aus einer alten Vorlesung von Jordan Peterson. Don't work on a skill which you don't wish to have. And why would I work on a skill to pick up women if I don't want to pick up lots of women? I just want to find one partner which I want to marry and spend the rest of my life with. Why should I focus on the skill of picking up women? But I'm just egoistic. If this is the skill that God wants me to learn, to find the woman of my dreams, who's a Christian, who loves the Lord, and who sees me for my heart and for who I am within, then yeah, I might have found the right person. We'll see about that. In the meantime, I'll continue reading my Bible. my Holy Bible, the New Living Translation. Yeah, and I'll continue here at Joshua 24. Today is, by the way, the 18th of March evening session, the Lord's covenant renewed. And then Joshua summoned all the tribes of Israel to Shechem, including their elders, leaders, judges, and officers. So they came and presented themselves to God. Joshua said to the people, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Long ago your ancestors, including Terah, the father of Abram, and Nahor, lived beyond the Euphrates River, and they worshipped other gods. But I took your ancestor Abraham from the land beyond the Euphrates and led him to the land of Canaan. I gave him many descendants through his son Isaac. To Isaac I gave Jacob and Esau. To Esau I gave the mountains of Seir, whilst Jacob and his children went down into Egypt. Then I sent Moses and Aaron, and I brought terrible plagues on Egypt, and afterwards I brought you out as a free people. But when your ancestors arrived at the Red Sea, the Egyptians chased after you with chariots and charioteers. When your ancestors cried out to the Lord, I put darkness between you and the Egyptians. I brought the sea crashing down on the Egyptians, drowning them. With your very own eyes you saw what I did. Then you lived in the wilderness for many years. Finally I brought you into the land of the Amorites, on the east side of the Jordan. They fought against you, and I destroyed them before you. I gave you victory over them, and you took possession of their land. Then Balak, son of Zippor, king of Moab, started a war against Israel. He summoned Balaam, son of Beor, to curse you, but I wouldn't listen to him. Instead I made Balaam bless you, so I rescued you from Balak. Then you crossed the Jordan River and came to Jericho. The men of Jericho fought against you, as did the Amorites, the Perizzites and Canaanites, the Hittites, and Girgashites and Hivites, and the Jebusites. But I gave you victory over them, and I sent terror ahead of you to drive out the 2 kings of the Amorites. If I was not your sword or bows that brought you victory, I gave you land and you had not worked on, and I gave you farms you didn't build. The towns where you are now living, I gave you vineyards and olive groves for food, though you didn't plant them. So fear the Lord and serve him wholeheartedly." I fucked up. I got distracted. I'm so bad. Put away forever your idols your ancestors worshipped when they lived beyond the Euphrates River and in Egypt. Serve the Lord alone. But if you refuse to serve the Lord, then choose today whom you will serve. Would you prefer the gods your ancestors served beyond the Euphrates, or will it be the God of the Amorites, in whose land you live now? But as for me and my family, we will serve the Lord." The people replied, "We would never abandon the Lord and serve other gods, for the Lord our God is the one who rescued us and our ancestors from slavery in the land of Egypt. He performed mighty miracles before our very eyes. As we traveled through the wilderness amongst our enemy, he preserved us. It was the Lord who drove out the Amorites and the other nations living here in the land. So we too will serve the Lord, for he alone is our God." When Joshua warned the people, "You are not able to serve the Lord, for he is a holy and jealous God. He will not forgive your rebellion and your sins. If you abandon the Lord and serve other gods, he will turn against you and will destroy you, even though he has been so good to you." But the people answered Joshua, "No, we will serve the Lord. You are a witness to your own decision." Joshua said, "You will have chosen to serve the Lord." "Yes," they replied, "we are witnesses to what we have said." "All right then," Joshua said, "destroy the idols among you and turn your hearts to the Lord, the God of Israel." The people said to Joshua, "We will serve the Lord our God, and we will obey him alone." So Joshua made a covenant with the people that day at Shechem, committing them to follow the decrees and regulations of the Lord. Joshua recorded these things in the book of God's instructions. As a reminder of their agreement, he took a huge stone and rolled it beneath the terebinth tree beside the tabernacle of the Lord. Joshua said to all the people, "This stone has heard everything the Lord said to us. It will be a witness to testify against you if you go back on your word to God. If you go against, it will be a witness to testify against you if you go back on your word to God." Then Joshua sent all the people away to their own homelands. Leaders buried the promised land. After this, Joshua son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. They buried him in the land he had been allocated at Timnath-Serah in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gaash. The people of Israel served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua and the elders who outlived him. Those who had personally experienced all that the Lord had done for Israel. The bones of Joseph, which the Israelites had brought along with them when they left Egypt, were buried at Shechem, in the plot of the land of Jacob. In the plot of land Jacob had bought from the sons of Hamor for 100 pieces of silver. This land was located in the territory allotted to the descendants of Joseph. Eleazar, son of Aaron, also died. He was buried in the hill country of Ephraim, in the town of Gibeah, which had been given to his son Phinehas. Judges. Judah and Simeon conquered the land. After the death of Joshua, the Israelites asked the Lord, which tribe should go first to attack the Canaanites. The Lord answered, "Judah, for I have given them victory over the land." The men of Judah said to their relatives from the tribe of Simeon, Join with us to fight against the Canaanites living in the territory allotted to us. Then we will help you conquer your territory. So the men of Simeon went with Judah. Then the men of Judah attacked. The Lord gave them victory over the Canaanites and Perizzites, and they killed 10,000 enemy warriors at the town of Bezek. While at Bezek, they encountered King Adoni-Bezek and fought against him, and the Canaanite and Perizzites were defeated. Adoni-Bezek escaped, but the Israelites soon captured him and cut off his thumbs and big toes. Holy shit, what the fuck. Adoni-Bezek said, "I once had 70 kings with their thumbs and big toes cut off, eating scraps from under my table. Now God has paid me back for what I did to them." They took him to Jerusalem, and he died there. The men of Judah attacked Jerusalem and captured it, killing all the people and setting the city on fire. Then they went down to fight the Canaanites living in the hill country, the Negev and the western foothills. Judah marched against the Canaanites in Hebron, formerly called Kiriath Arba, defeating the forces of Sheshai, Ahiman, and Talmai. From there they went to fight against the people living in the town of Debir, formerly called Kiriath Sefer. Caleb said, "I will give my daughter Aksa in marriage to the one who attacks and captures Kiriath Sefer." Othniel, the son of Caleb's younger brother Kenaz, was the one who conquered it, so Aksa became Othniel's wife. Then Aksa married Othniel, and she urged him to ask her father for a field. As she got down off her donkey, Caleb asked her, "What's the matter?" She said, "Let me have another gift. You have already given me land in the Negev. Now please give me springs of water too." So Caleb gave her the upper and lower springs. When the tribe of Judah left Jericho, the city of palms, the Kenites, who were descendants of Moses' father-in-law, traveled with them into the wilderness of Judah. They settled among the people there near the town of Arad in the Negev. Then Judah joined with Simeon to fight against the Canaanites living in Sephath, and they completely destroyed the town. So the town was named Hormah In addition, Judah captured the towns of Gaza, Ashkelon, and Ekron, along with their surrounding territories. Israel fails to conquer the land. The Lord was with the people of Judah, and they took possession of the hill country, but they failed to drive out the people living in the plains, who had iron chariots. The town of Hebron was given to Caleb, as Moses had promised, and Caleb drove out the people living there, who were descendants of the 3 sons of Anak. The tribe of Benjamin, however, failed to drive out the Jebusites, who were living in Jerusalem. So to this day, the Jebusites live in Jerusalem among the people of Benjamin. The descendants of Joseph attacked the town of Bethel, and the Lord was with them. They sent men to shout out Bethel, formerly known as Luz. They confronted a man coming out of the town and said to him, "Show us a way into the town, and we will have mercy on you." So he showed them a way in, and they killed everyone in the town except that man and his family. Later the man moved to the land of the Hittites, where he built a town. He named it Luz, which is its name to this day. The tribe of Manasseh failed to drive out the people living in Beth Shan, Tanach, Dor, Ibleam, Megiddo, and all their surrounding settlements, because the Canaanites were determined to stay in that region. When the Israelites grew stronger, they forced the Canaanites to grow as slaves, but they never did drive them completely out of the land. The tribe of Ephraim failed to drive out the Canaanites living in Gezer, so the Canaanites continued to live there among them. The tribe of Zebulun failed to drive out the residents of Kitron and Nahalol, so the Canaanites continued to live among them. But the Canaanites were forced to work as slaves for the people of Zebulun. The tribe of Asher failed to drive out the residents of Akko, Sidon, Alab, Akzib, Helba, Afik, and Rehob. Instead, the people of Asher moved in among the Canaanites, who controlled the land, for they failed to drive them out. Likewise, the tribe of Naphtali failed to drive out the residents of Beth Shemesh and Beth Anat. Instead, they moved in among the Canaanites, who controlled the land. Nevertheless, the people of Beth Shemesh and Bethanel were forced to work as slaves for the people of Naphtali. As for the tribe of Dan, the Amorites forced them back into the hill country and would not let them come down into the plains. The Amorites were determined to stay in Mount Heres, Aiyalon, and Shaalbim, but when the descendants of Joseph became stronger, they forced the Amorites to work as slaves. The boundary of the Amorites ran from Scorpion Pass to Selah and continued upwards from there. The Lord's message comes to Bochim. The angel of the Lord went up from Gilgal to Bochim and said to the Israelites, "I brought you out of Egypt into this land that I swore to give your ancestors. And I said I would never break my covenant with you. For your part, you were not to make any covenants with the people living in this land. Instead, you were to destroy their altars. But you disobeyed my command. Why did you do this? So now I declare that I will no longer drive out the people living in your land. They will be thorns in your sides, and the gods will be a constant temptation to you." Then the angel of the Lord finished speaking to all the Israelites. The people wept loudly. So they called the place Bochim, which means weeping, and they offered sacrifices there to the Lord. The death of Joshua. After Joshua sent the people away, each of the tribes left to take possession of the land allotted to them. And the Israelites served the Lord throughout the lifetime of Joshua, and the leaders who outlived him, those who had seen all the great things the Lord had done for Israel. Joshua, son of Nun, the servant of the Lord, died at the age of 110. They buried him in the land he had been allocated at Timnah Serah, in the hill country of Ephraim, north of Mount Gaash. Israel disobeys the Lord. After that generation died, another generation grew up, who didn't acknowledge the Lord or remember the mighty things he had done for Israel. The Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight and served the images of Baal. They abandoned the Lord, the God of their ancestors, who had brought them out of Egypt. They went after other gods, worshipping the gods of the people around them, and they angered the Lord. They abandoned the Lord to serve Baal and the images of Ashtoreth. This made the Lord burn with anger against Israel, so he handed them over to the raiders, who stole their possessions. He turned them over to their enemies all around, and they were no longer able to resist them. Every time Israel went out to battle, the Lord fought against them, causing them to be defeated, just as he had warned, and the people were in great distress. The Lord rescues his people. Then the Lord raised up judges to rescue the Israelites from their attackers. Yet Israel didn't listen to the judges, but prostituted themselves by worshipping other gods. How quickly they turned away from the path of their ancestors, who had walked in obedience to the Lord's command. Whenever the Lord raised up a judge over Israel, it was with the judge and rescued the people from their enemies. Throughout the judge's lifetime, for the Lord took pity in his people and who were buried by oppression and suffering. But when the judge died, the people returned to their corrupt ways, behaving worse than those who had lived before them. They went after other gods, serving and worshipping them, and they refused to give up their evil practices and stubborn ways. So the Lord burned with anger against Israel. He said, "Because these people have violated my covenant, which I made with their ancestors, and have ignored my commands, I will no longer drive out the nations that Joshua left unconquered when he died. I did this to test Israel, to see whether or not they would follow the ways of the Lord as their ancestors did. This is why the Lord left those nations in place. He didn't quickly drive them out or allow Joshua to conquer them at all." Judges 3. The nations left in Canaan. These are the nations that the Lord left in the land to test those Israelites who had not experienced the wars of Canaan. He did this to teach warfare to generations of Israelites who had no experience in battle. These are the nations: the Philistines, those living under the 5 Philistine rulers, and the Canaanites, the Sidonians, and the Hivites living in the mountains of Lebanon from Mount Baal Hermon to Lebo Hamath. These people were left to test the Israelites, to see whether they would obey the commands of the Lord, whether they would obey the commands the Lord had given to their ancestors through Moses. So the people of Israel lived amongst the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, and Hivites, and Jebusites, and they intermarried with them. Israelite sons married their daughters, and Israelite daughters were given to marriage to their sons, and the Israelites served their gods. That's so good. Anyways, heute 18:30 p.m. Good night.